Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, young professionals. I welcome you today for the IEEE Young Professionals webinar series for the month October. Thank you for joining us from different parts of the world. Today we have with us Parshva from IEEE MGA, Natalia, who is the current vice chair of Santa Clara Valley's WIE, Mario, who is the chair of IEEE Global Young Professionals. And today we will learn how IEEE can advance your career and help you find your niche community. I'm Preeti, your host today. I am part of the Global Young Professionals Executive Team and currently working at a technology services company, Tech Mahindra, which is based out of India. IEEE Young Professionals host monthly webinars on selected topics of your interest in the leadership and technical areas. Do follow our website and social media pages for upcoming events list. Should you have any questions now or during the webinar or after the webinar, please feel free to post your questions in the box below on the IEEE.tv page. All your questions will be answered during the Q&A session post the webinar. Follow our website, yp.ieee.org, for updates on IEEE Young Professionals. You'll find amazing resources for members and volunteers, along with stories on impact by and of our IEEE Young Professionals. And upcoming special events, IEEE Young Professional partners with key global IEEE and non-IEEE events to host young professional meetups. These are definitely the most happening events across the world in IEEE. Here is a list of some of the cool events that are to be hosted across different IEEE regions. You see there's Hard Tech Summit that's coming up soon in November in Singapore, and you see the different events that are happening at US or Bosnia. We are spread across the social media. Follow us on Twitter right away and tweet your webinar experience, and we will reshare your tweets with a larger audience. And also for all the Facebook fans out there, like us on Facebook. Do not miss out on any latest update by IEEE Young Professionals. Also, there's our email ID. Write to us on young-professionals@ieee.org for any questions, queries, or doubts or ideas. We also have our own YouTube channel where you can find the archives of past webinars and other exciting videos by big personalities in tech and engineering. Join our young professionals community on the IEEE Collaborative. This is open for all non-IEEE members as well, and this is definitely a best way to connect with the IEEE members and volunteer leaders across the world. So we will now begin with our webinar, Why Are You an IEEE Member? Today's speakers, Parshva, Natalia, and Mario are with us here. Our first speaker today, Parshva Bavishi is a product specialist for member and geographic activities inside the IEEE. He's a graduate from the College of New Jersey with a degree in international relations and a specialty in foreign policy. Parsh assists both student and young professional global committees and is directing the strategic plan of the young professional community in the future. Over to you, Parsh.
Thank you, Preeti, for the introduction. First of all, thank you all for coming online and spending some time with us. I'm eager to hear from all of you and appreciate all of you taking the time out. I'm just going to give a quick overview of coming from a staff perspective on some of the questions you guys could be thinking about during this webinar. as you hear our takes on the benefits that IEEE has to offer. So this is kind of the timeline that I usually have in my mind, and I present to students and young professionals at congresses. But these are the different points in your student and young professional career, and these are the different areas that you might be wondering about. So when you first start as part of IEEE, you might want to be introduced to your local student branch, your section. You want to get to know your current officers, get a connection with the headquarters, IEEE headquarters, and maybe start participating in local and some global IEEE events. So IEEE Extreme just happened in the past week, so very excited about that. It's a programming competition, and maybe you participate in some local events on campus. But as you start undertaking some of these responsibilities, you may take a more elaborate role within IEEE. So you now are in a volunteering role, a local volunteering role, you're a local officer. But now maybe you start branching outwards. So you start collaborating with local branches, you go through the funding process to acquire some funds to launch an event. And now you kind of start building a repository of ideas and ways to get things done and accomplished within IEEE. And this is kind of the volunteering timeline that you may hear from Nat and Mario as we move forward, but you also might have your own unique experience. But these are some of these questions are the same foundation that everybody goes through as they start their kind of young career within IEEE. So I think what I like to focus on is these two next areas. Kind of the more important role is, now that you might be transitioning out from a student to a young professional, it's important to understand the larger IEEE structure. What are the different units within IEEE? What are their specialties? If I have an interest in publishing, for example, what committees work on those specific topics? It's also important to understand to provide the people that are around you, your friends who are in IEEE, provide them an opportunity to volunteer and succeed as well. So succession planning for the next officers is just as important as focusing on your own professional development. So then you get to a kind of a juncture of, now that I'm a young professional, it's important to note, I think, what's important for me, for the organization, and I think it's important to understand where can I contribute most to IEEE, and then what am I looking to get out of it as well. And then so that's kind of the volunteering timeline we have overall. Now, what's supporting this entire volunteering timeline are IEEE's specific products and services. So if we move on to the next slide, you'll probably see some products and services that we have to offer. So this is kind of what we break down, at least in students in the young professional area, some career products. So you'll hear maybe a little bit about Resume Lab, a little bit about Collaboratech. It's important for students, young professionals to focus on their professional development, resume writing, interview practicing. These are important things. Mentoring, for example, to be able to connect with a high-level senior member within IEEE who could probably advise you on where to go within your industry, or if you want to take a different route altogether. I also want to highlight the importance that volunteering in itself has a lot of benefits. So, product management, public speaking, for example, strategic planning. These are some kind of benefits you would get by providing your time on a local committee. As you move higher, maybe a global committee, but it's also important to realize where your interests lie. So for example, as I mentioned before, if you're in publishing or you're interested in writing articles, for example, we have the Potentials Committee, and that's a student magazine that's delivered as a benefit. But we also have areas that we offer support in funding, ebooks, and virtual communities such as Collaboratech. So we heard a little bit about that before. So maybe you're in an area that it's not so, people aren't so accessible close by. So you can go onto this virtual network, try to connect with people from around the world. And that's kind of what IEEE truly offers, kind of breaking down these borders and barriers so you can connect yourself with people from all over, as you'll hear as we move on. But it's also important, I think, to keep in mind that we do offer services for your professional development, for career networking. And when you go into the young professional area, you'll see that we're emphasizing meeting up locally, participating in local events that can connect you with your future employer, with potential friends, someone to help you along the line, down the line. And that's something that IEEE specifically offers. So without taking too much more of the other people's times, I'm going to pass it on to them. But these are some questions to keep in mind as we go through this webinar. Thank you, Preeti.
Thank you so much, Parsh. So now we will move on to our next speaker, Natalia Baklitskaya. Natalia is a CAD infrastructure software engineer at Intel Programmable Solutions Group in San Jose, California. She is an electrical and electronic graduate from Columbia University with early experience in hardware at IBM and Qualcomm and software development experience from Accenture Labs. Natalia is a maker and loves to teach others how to make wearables and cool Arduino-based projects while spreading her love for circuits and code. So let's hear from Natalia how IEEE helped her. Over to you, Natalia. Natalia, we can't hear you, so could you want to relog in?
Yeah, I think I'll try.
Now it's fine. Now it's fine. You're good.
Okay. Quick note. The slides are not up there anymore for me.
Okay. Let me check.
Mario's having the same issue.
Yeah, I don't think my slides were up, but I just kept going. So at the end, maybe if we can just circle back.
Okay, sure.
All right. So while you're putting the slides up, I'm going to give you more of an industrial perspective of moving on from being IEEE student branch leader to jumping into industry and how IEEE impacted my life in basically every way. I got involved in IEEE very early on in my student career. I joined a student branch when a friend of mine told me that it would be a cool thing to do at Columbia University. And I really understood the full value of IEEE after getting involved in the IEEE University Partnership Program. And I don't know how many of you out there listening are already involved in that. And if you are, you probably know a lady named Chris McCartney. She is fantastic, and she goes by IEEE Mom because she truly does embody the mom of the IEEE family, which is what IEEE truly means to me. It's my IEEE family. When I went to the first University Partnership Program Summit, which included student branch leaders from 17 different schools across the nation and from across the world actually too, I really realized just how big the IEEE network is and how much impact you can have. This kind of got me started on wanting to network more, collaborating more with people, realizing there's so many brilliant minds out there that I could get to know, that I could come up with cool projects to find out better ways of doing things or sharing my own experience or my student branch's experience and just get so much value out of that. While doing all of those things and going to the leadership summits and doing more with our student branch and with the help of Chris, of course, I kept developing my networking skills and my speaking skills and becoming much more comfortable with being a social butterfly in a sense, even though that wasn't really the case in the past. So I kind of owe that whole aspect to IEEE. And one of the cool things about IEEE is because we are global, you can find this community of brilliant minds who are willing to share and collaborate and talk about really cool things that they're doing and publish it. You can find that almost anywhere else you go. And this is what I was kind of wanted to continue with after I graduated. My first job out of school was at IBM, and that was in Poughkeepsie, New York. And it was a really fun job and I really enjoyed it. But one of the things that I was missing up there was my bigger IEEE community. And where else would you find a big IEEE community? Well, that would be in Silicon Valley. And that was actually one of the reasons I wanted to move out here, because I wanted to continue being involved as a chapter leader, now IEEE, as an IEEE professional. And I also continued being involved as a mentor, presenter, and recruiter, which is blocked by one of my pictures there, for IEEE student branches too, which is why it's important to stay involved. One of the cool things that IEEE provides for student branch leaders and young professionals is that you're not just a technical person. You're a technical person with communication and people skills. That's kind of a rare combination to find in an engineer, and believe me, companies value this to the extreme. That's why we, whichever company I always worked at, I would always try to find student branch leaders or young professionals who are actually involved in their community, because you know that comes with certain skill set. You know that it comes with a network and with the understanding of logistics and how things work. So I was mentioning that one of the reasons I relocated to the West Coast was because of my IEEE community at large. And of course, I very quickly joined the board here, and now I'm serving as a vice chair for the Santa Clara Valley Women in Engineering branch. And it has been absolutely a blast. I got to meet some of the coolest people and participate in amazing events as a result of that. And we also have our Women in Engineering International Leadership Conference here every year, which you should attend regardless of whether you're a male or a female, because the idea is for it to be 50-50. And here's one of the values of IEEE here. The discount that you get for being an IEEE member to go to just this one conference is already worth the membership price. And this applies to so many other conferences you can go to meet professionals working in your field, or maybe working in a field adjacent to yours, that can spark a whole new idea in what you are working on. And you get a discount from that. Then there's also IEEE local talks that are hosted by groups such as our group, Santa Clara Valley Women in Engineering. We partner with other groups as well, like Signal Processing Society up here, they're amazing. Computer Society, Solid State Devices, lots of different groups, and they do great stuff. And your membership funds actually go to help fund these amazing talks where you can connect with people locally. And sometimes we bring in people from outside. And a lot of times for you, you also get a discount for registration when you go to these events as a member. And one of the things that you can do is become a speaker yourself at these events and demonstrate what you have learned. And don't be afraid to go out there and showcase your work, even if you're afraid that there might be mistakes or something like that, because the community will help you grow and will help you figure out a better way of doing things. So give it a shot and join a board. One of the really important things with IEEE, with my job, my career so far, has been that that's the one constant that's always there. I might be in a different company, but I'm always part of the IEEE group. I still get to keep my network there, while I might be switching network from company to company. And that is incredibly valuable. So I found that useful, and it's led to great things. And I was talking about IEEE family. If you look to the right, there's a lot of pictures there. There's just a tiny little piece of my IEEE family. It extends very far, and it's really quite global. You'll see pictures there from a hackathon at Women in Engineering International Leadership Conference. I have some of my board members standing behind me, some of my team. The picture below with the colorful shirts, that's one of the IEEE University Partnership Program summits that we had. This was in November at MIT last year. And I had the students make an IEEE robot shirt with a programmable microcontroller and NeoPixels that you can wear and do really cool things with. And you can see all of us are wearing the shirt there. You can't see the glowing because it's too small. You'll see a picture of a solar plane. It's kind of from the left side. And I got to see the solar impulse plane, the plane that basically traveled around the world, just fueled by solar power. Because one of the IEEE student branch leaders, Paige Casalin, was part of that team, and she was in town. And of course, the family that we were, she was like, hey, you should come around and check out this cool plane. So of course I did, and that was incredibly cool. So you'll meet some really fantastic people as you continue to stay involved in IEEE. And of course, you can always geek out together with your friends and make IEEE Science and EE Science together at different conferences, such as the one that I have there for IEEE Future Leaders Forum. And I know Mario will talk much more about this one, but IEEE Publications and Research, amazing stuff. Publish your stuff there. IEEE Explorer really is that good. The search engine is good. You'll find great professionals that will be able to point you to in your research to the next thing that you should be looking at. And don't be afraid to reach out to these people and pick their brain. Basically, IEEE has been amazing to me, and it is what you make of it. And I highly recommend continuing to get involved in building your skills.
Thank you, Natalia. That was a really great experience that you shared with all of us here. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions on your experiences and furthermore more about IEEE Young Professionals and WIE experiences you had. So next we will move on to Mario's presentation. So yeah, we all have met or work with Mario. So Mario, our chair for the Global IEEE Young Professionals. He's a PhD candidate in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at the University of Toronto, where his research focuses on the integrated circuit design of error correction decoders for wireless, optical, and quantum security systems. Mario currently serves as the chair of the Global IEEE Young Professionals Committee, where he was involved in launching the IEEE's technology entrepreneurship community, and also bringing exposure to the IEEE Young Professionals at very high-profile global events such as CES, South by Southwest, and the very famous Web Summit. So over to you, Mario. Really excited to listen and hear about your experiences.
Thanks, Preeti. Perfect. Yeah, so it's a pleasure to be part of this webinar and pleasure to be joining yourself and Natalia and Parshva as part of this webinar. Just to give everyone a quick background, I am a PhD student and I'm currently looking to graduate. So the young professionals community is kind of my next stop. And, you know, I've had the pleasure of being both an IEEE student member and a graduate student member, and now I'm looking towards, you know, after I graduate, what are some of the benefits that I'm going to be, you know, being able to leverage as a IEEE young professional member. And so I like to kind of just take a step back and go through my story as a volunteer and as a member of the IEEE. I was involved as the I was involved locally in Toronto with the Young Professionals Affinity Group for a number of years. And after that role, after being the chair of the local affinity group there, I continued to be involved globally as a vice chair of the MGA Young Professionals Committee, and then further went on to, over the past 2 years, be the chair of the committee. So it's been a great experience being able to interact with all the volunteers and members over the years. I've had very similar experiences as Natalia has talked about, very touching experiences in building lifelong relationships. And I also do regard IEEE as my IEEE family. So that's, and you know, Natalia is not the only other person that I've heard say that. I've heard many other IEEE volunteers feel the same way. So it's a pleasure to be part of this growing, thriving community. Now, as a grad student member, I was really able to take advantage of a lot of the benefits provided by IEEE in order to do my research. So my research focuses on chip design, integrated circuit design for error correction systems. And so I was able to leverage some of the benefits provided through the Explore digital library to find recent papers, you know, stay current to figure out what's going on in the literature and where the state of the art is going, which really helped me then get an idea of where do I want to take my research and who do I want to eventually meet when I go to conferences, right? Because when you see these people's names in papers, you can kind of get a good idea of, you know, who could potential future collaborators be. And so really IEEE gives you that venue to publish your own work in conferences and also connect with your global technical community. And that's really one of the benefits that IEEE also provides is its plethora of conferences. So with, I think there are over 1,500 conferences a year in the IEEE. And so, there's something for everybody who's interested in staying up to date in terms of their technical skills. And really, conferences are a great way to go and bump into people who could be really good connections in industry, and also really valuable research collaborators. So I've had the benefit of having both of those connections happen at conferences, which has been really tremendous throughout my research career. Now that I'm looking to graduate, though, one of the things that I need to leverage is my global network. And so that's one of the benefits of being an IEEE member for so many years, is that I do have that extensive community that I can reach out to and say, hey, I'm looking at a job in this field. Do you know anybody who can help me with that? Or what are some of the opportunities like at XYZ company? So, having that global network allows you to be informed and really ahead of the game, right? Because you can really make these informed decisions about what you want to do with your future and your career, rather than just taking the first best offer. So that's one of the great things about IEEE, is that it allows you to build your global professional network early on. There's no point to trying to build your network when you need to use it. You really got to start building your network many years in advance. And so when the time comes that you have to reach out to that network, it's already there and it's ready to support you. So that's definitely one of the benefits that I've seen being part of the IEEE community. Now, moving on to, after I graduate and start working somewhere, I'm definitely going towards the industry. I'm going to be tapping into more benefits in the young professional member space. And so some of the really great tools that we've put out in the past number of years include the IEEE Collaboratech online social networking platform, which actually now has the mentoring feature built into it. So if you're an IEEE member, if you're looking to connect with a mentor, maybe you just started out a new job, and you're not sure if this is where you want to go, then the mentoring platform allows you to connect with other mentors in your field who are willing to give, volunteer their time and sit down with you and talk about, your career and some of your ambitions and what they would recommend for you to do. And this is really part of that IEEE family, and one of the great things that comes along with being an IEEE member. This is invaluable. The membership fee that you pay is just a small piece of what you actually get in return for being an IEEE member. And I think, if you're in a technical field, this is something that you want to be highly consider. The Resume Lab product is also really good because it allows you to practice interview questions before your interview. It allows you to custom tailor your resume. So definitely take a look at the Resume Lab product as well if you're looking to make a career transition, or you're looking to jump out of grad school into the working world. And I've talked a lot about building your professional network, and a lot of that comes from local events. A lot of that comes from meeting with IEEE members in your local community and your city or metropolitan area, wherever you happen to be, and learning about what they do. And local affinity groups, such as the Women Engineering Affinity Group or the Young Professionals Affinity Group in your section, are the prime opportunities to connect with those people, because they will organize events tailored to folks like yourselves who are looking to meet new people, learn about great and exciting new things. And so, connect with the people in your local community, and you'll be surprised how quickly that can grow globally. Nat talked about moving across the country in a heartbeat, right? So the IEEE community allows you to do that. And once you get involved as a volunteer, if that's what some of your interests, it's very easy to connect with members across the world. And the IEEE community really does support that. And lastly, I want to talk about the importance of technical societies and the importance that technical societies can play in young professional development. So the IEEE has over 35 technical societies, whether you're in circuits, oceanic engineering, communication systems, microwave theory, etc., power engineering. There are so many technical societies that have whose members are in those technical fields. And so that's a great way to stay involved if you're looking to continue to be throughout your career technically active in a particular field. Being part of an IEEE technical society will enable you to connect with that technical community and experience your professional development through that community. So we have young professional representatives and young professional committees in most of the technical societies throughout the IEEE. So we already have early career programs tailored for your technical community through the IEEE societies. So if you're looking to stay involved in, let's say, power and energy, we have the Power and Energy Society and Professionals group, who are continuously putting out webinars and continuously putting out networking events at some of the Power and Energy Society conferences, for example. And I can say that that is true for almost all the societies that we have in the IEEE right now. So I do encourage you, if you are a young professional member, you're not really sure how you can get involved, get involved with the technical society and see some of the ways that you can connect with members through that way as well. So for myself, I mentioned earlier that I'm part of the integrated circuits community, so I'm part of the Solid State Circuit Society. I volunteer there as well. So that's been a great opportunity to connect with peer leaders in that technical field, which are definitely key resources now that I'm looking for a job. So what can I say? It's been a great experience being part of the IEEE, and I'm looking forward to many more years to come.
Thanks, Mario. Yes. So, yeah. So that was Mario for us, the chair of Global IEEE Young Professionals. So now we'll quickly move on to the questions, the favorite part, my favorite part. So enter your questions in the box below on the IEEE.TV live page. So do you have any questions? If you have any questions specific to a speaker, so please tag the name as well so that I can direct the question to the speaker. I have a couple of questions that I received on my email. So I think this is for Natalie. So Natalie, the first question for you is, could you share examples of how maker spaces can boost innovation?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So makerspaces is a chance for people to go and actually try building something without any judgment, without being afraid to mess up, and to collaborate with somebody who might know how to solve that specific problem that they might have, but show it to them really quickly. Because with a lot of the things that you want to try making, there's a lot of tutorials online that can help you out. But going somewhere where you can meet with people in person, or going to a workshop or things like that, and being guided to the steps in kind of a quick show succession really helps you figure out and boost your ideas and your projects in a really fun way. So for example, for my school, we had a lot of labs where we can go and play around with stuff and build things, and actually labs were integrated as part of our schoolwork, but it gave us a chance to go and mess around with stuff and see what actually practically works and doesn't. And then that kind of inspired me to go and teach workshops in the maker space. So I actually teach both young generations and adults, because as we progress in our careers, we're working on some really cool stuff, and like things like error correction and designing circuits, and now you're like doing stuff where you write code like System Verilog or VHDL to generate circuits. But you kind of get departed from being able to actually put things together. And maybe the things that you're assembling as a maker are not going to be like super advanced next gen technology is going to go out into space. Or maybe it will be, I don't know. But it's really fun to actually get hands-on and build something cool that you can demonstrate and geek out with other people when, for example, you make a wearable or things like that. And things like wearables actually are very inspiring for young generations and older too to get into the field. Because come on, everybody likes shiny things, especially if they're programmable. So if any of you on the phone are ever thinking about trying to do STEM programs or doing just fun team building activities, I would actually highly recommend using wearables as a vehicle to deliver that and to get people, give them early success from building something and get them into the field. And if you have any more questions about it, you can send me a message on LinkedIn.
Thanks, Nat. So there is another question from the audience.
Hey, Preeti, before we move on, would it be okay if you cycle back to my timeline slide just to keep it up as a foundation for everybody in case it got taken out? So just for people to look at.
Yes, I was coming to that. So there's Chris who says, yeah, he was not able to see your slides, so let's go back there. Right.
Um,
So you want to run through any one-liner or a two-liner about the slide again, Parsh?
Basically, I think the takeaway here is that it's important for, and I think now after hearing two stories here, to identify really where your interests lie and where you might want to help out. And it takes a moment to understand, it takes a while to understand the large IEEE structure, but it's important to understand that there are a lot of places for opportunity. And there's different areas as well. So there's educational activities, there's technical activities, there's standards. Standards education is a new, innovative, exciting field as well. And all these areas have opportunities for people to kind of help out locally and globally. So I think that's a big takeaway here for those of you who are have already been introduced to the traditional volunteering path.
Okay, so anything more about the products and services or anything specific that you would like to highlight?
I think these are just the key top areas that I wanted to, focus on, and I think Nat and Mario did a good job kind of diving in on some of these areas that benefited them and those around them. But if people do have questions about it, I'd be more than happy to answer anything, or feel free to reach out to me. I do work for IEEE, and I'm here to assist you on anything you want to get a better idea of, how these products can help you specifically or personally in an issue that you might be having.
And if I can just jump in here, Parshva mentioned that there is this opportunity within technical activities, and that's kind of the area that I was talking about in the technical society space. So that's deeply integrated across the IEEE. So there are many ways that you can get involved there as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks, Parsh. So I'll go back to our questions slide. So Mario, I'm still waiting for more questions to come. So viewers, please feel free to write in any questions you have for our speakers, and I will put them here, direct them to our speaker you want the answer from. So Mario, I get this a lot from the members and the volunteers, especially here in India. So if a volunteer is moving from one place to another, so they find it sometimes difficult to get in touch directly with a community of their interest or a group of their interest. So what is your suggestion as the IEEE Young Professionals Chair? What is the best thing to do for volunteers who have this kind of difficulties?
So two things. The first one I'm going to talk about Collaboratech, because one of the reasons that tool was created was for exactly this reason. For when people move across geographies, they want to be able to connect with a local community, and so Collaboratech allows you to become part of a metropolitan area, for example, which is in a section you might have many. So some certain sections are entire countries, but you would have individual metropolitan areas as communities on Collaboratech, where you can go and connect with members and volunteers who are moderators in that community, who could then help you connect with local members or events. And so once you're part of that community on Collaboratech, the metropolitan community, then you can see all the events going on there. So there is an event feed where you can see the events going on. And I believe IEEE also recently launched an event finder app. So you can use the Event Finder mobile app to find events locally based on where you want to be. And the second opportunity, though, if you want to connect with more young professionals, is just reach out to us through our online website, and we will make sure that you get connected with whoever you need to be connected with. So you can, if you go on the yp.ieee.org website and hit the contact button, you'll be able to send us a message, and we'll connect you in a day or so with the right people in that local community.
Thank you, Mario. Our next question is from Muhammad Abdul from Bangladesh. How can we maximize our benefits from IEEE Resume Lab? So Parsh, you would like to take this up?
Yeah, sure. So I think it depends on the personal situation you're in and what stage you're in. But some of the benefits, some of the modules that Resume Lab has is assistance in writing your cover letter, your resume. It provides you templates that you can use and swap in and out of if you're applying to different industries, for example. It gives you the standard. That's a good template to follow as you're applying to companies, because hiring managers are looking for not just competence, but an understanding that you have the adequate skills.
More about mentoring, especially via Collaboratech.
Okay, so I'll chime in about the virtual aspect, and then maybe Mario and Nat can talk about their personal local experiences in mentoring through IEEE. So currently, right now, if you go into Collaboratech and in your profiles, there's an option to be available as a mentee, and then there's a field that you can search the available mentors that are out there. But so you're gonna have an ability to kind of look through the different mentors that are out there, but it's important to find the right mentor for you. And you kind of want to know beforehand what area you might need support in. And if you don't know, that's okay. But to have an initial idea, that might help. Is it in a certain technical area, or are you looking for mentorship and volunteering, for example, in IEEE? And that might help you, pare down where you're looking for a mentor. So maybe you look for, in Collaboratech, you'll be able to kind of match up with someone senior level IEEE member, perhaps in the United States. And then for maybe 5 to 6 months, you kind of have a back and forth on, your different updates, some milestones that you could reach, and someone will kind of look over your work in IEEE. And if you're looking for someone within Pakistan, you can also filter that down as well. We have that capability to kind of look at your geographic area, and that might be more in a technical field, or that might be within IEEE as well, and kind of how a faculty member, for example, kind of rose up in their ranks in IEEE and their university, and what they could do to advance themselves to be published, for example. So I think if you go into Collaboratech and kind of play around with the different options and look for those around you, you can kind of filter down who you're looking for, who's available, and the mentoring relationship you can start virtually.
If I can just add to what Parshva said, I think he covered a great deal on the aspects within Collaboratech, and but I think there's also a component of mentoring that can happen locally as well. If you connect with at an IEEE event, for example, you might connect with somebody who you think might be a good mentor for you. I encourage you to pursue that relationship. The societies, the technical societies, are also a good opportunity because, as I mentioned, they have people in a technical space that is similar to yours. So if you're part of a technical society, I know for a fact that many conferences and our young professionals groups at conferences do this a lot. We organize networking events and professional development events for networking, for mentoring and networking specifically at our conferences. So for example, I'll give you a really good example. Last year at the GlobeCom conference, this is from the Communication Society, it's one of their flagship conferences, they organized an evening reception where the first hour was devoted to mentoring. And so at that conference, and this mentoring event was open to all young professional members. So you didn't have to actually attend the conference to attend this special event. And we're seeing this model being picked up more and more, where a conference is now going to host a module event that is not part of its that is part of its conference, but you don't necessarily have to pay the full conference price to attend this one little mentoring or networking event. And this is a good opportunity to connect with experts in that field who traveled from around the world to be part of that event. So going back to the GlobeCom example, what they did is for the first, they had a 2-hour session. The second hour was a panel discussion, but the first hour was very interesting. They had small tables set up around the room, and each table had only 3 chairs. And on each table, there was a small sign that said security or IoT or wearables or something like that. So there was a thematic, there was a theme on every table. And so if you are interested in a particular research area or a particular industry, you would go and hang out at that table. And at each table, there was one person who was an expert in the industry who was dedicated to be at that table. So you could really learn a lot from them. And that was an opportunity to connect face to face, in addition to the benefits that Parshva mentioned, which are more virtual. So check out the technical societies. And I think Nat might have something else to add too.
Yes, Nat, so do you have anything to add to this, especially mentoring experiences for you? And did you find your mentor in IEEE, and how did it go?
I'm constantly getting mentored by my senior board members with whom I work on different boards, or whenever we collaborate with other societies on a technical talk, you meet these people and they actually give you a lot of advice, and you also share your experiences with them. So that has been my mentorship experience for a lot of this. A lot of my mentors came from organizing events and things like that, because you kind of build a bond as you pursue a goal together. I also mentor some students myself from my university, and I continue to kind of I got a lot of help and mentorship from IEEE, so I kind of try to give back constantly to anybody who is looking to get advice or to maybe get a job within one of the companies I worked at, or things like that. And if I reach back to my college experiences, one of the problems that we had, and it's definitely a huge problem worldwide, is that we didn't have a lot of females joining EE major. And one of the solutions for that, the program that I launched at Columbia, was mentorship lunches, where we would have family-style lunches with upperclassmen and underclassmen, or people who might not have even decided to join EE or computer engineering yet. And because they got to have kind of informal, ask all your questions, get any dirt or great things about which courses to take, which ones not to take, because they started developing that relationship with some of the upperclassmen, we actually started seeing more females coming into the program, because a lot of their friends, for example, from Society Women Engineers, would be going to other majors like, I don't know, industrial engineering and biomedical engineering, and they would be left without their core support system. But by demonstrating that support system from the IEEE mentorship lunches within upperclassmen, they got more comfortable and were more comfortable to join, and it was easier to make that decision to go into that major where you would still have that group.
That's right. Thank you, Nat. So I think what I really liked about what you said is it's not just mentoring, or it's just not about getting mentored or finding your mentor, but also mentoring other volunteers or other IEEE members. So that's the most important part. So also giving, right? That's good experiences and thoughts from each of you. So next. A question for Mario. Again, this is a question based on what I was asked multiple times. So Mario, based on your experience as the chair this year and last year, so what is your suggestion for the young professional affinity groups across the world, the chairs of young professional groups, how to formulate goals going forward, or is there any best practice that you would like to suggest to them?
Yeah, I get, this is one of the struggles that I had when I was a chair, what do you do, right?
Right.
What are the rules? And,
Right.
a lot of times we get caught up in the rules and so my advice is do what you enjoy, and do what makes you happy, and do what you think, because when you do something that you enjoy as an individual, that will naturally appear natural to other people, and so other people will naturally follow you, and so you won't turn the activity into a job or a task, but rather something that you're passionate about. And I think, we heard from, and I'm sure I'm not the only person to say this, but I can, just listening to Natalia speak on today's webinar, the things that she was involved with the university partnership program, it didn't sound like it was a job to her. It sounded like this is something that she genuinely wanted to do. So my advice to any volunteer in the IEEE is do what you want to do. Nobody forces you to do anything. So, if you want to take on a committee role or be involved in an affinity group, do it because you want to do it. So, and if you're looking at what things you can do, think about, well, what are some of the things that you're interested in? Okay, what's hot in the industry? IoT is hot, wearables are hot. Maybe you can organize a wearables workshop. Mobile app development We've seen so many workshops over the past number of years on mobile app development throughout the IEEE, and obviously members were passionate about this. You can do industry tours. So lots of companies are more than happy to have you come visit because it's a good opportunity for them to find new hires primarily. But so if you have a member of your affinity group who is well connected in industry, perhaps they'd be willing to organize a tour for local members of a company. You can do more social events like general meetups or networking events. You can partner with entrepreneurs to host entrepreneurship panels and build a growing entrepreneurship community in your local city. So there are lots of things that you can do. We have on our website, yp.ieee.org, if you go into the volunteer section, we have a whole number of event guides and suggestions on what you can do and then how to do it, with checklists on what you need, or suggested checklists on what you might need to pull off these events. So I would encourage you, if you're looking for event ideas, two things. One, do something you're passionate about, and two, go on or check out our website to see if we already have some guidelines on what you can do.
Thank you, Mario. So I can definitely connect with whatever you just said. Especially, I was a chair previously for one of the local sections, and definitely do what you want and do what you like, and that should be the best interest of most of your volunteers and members in your section. Yes, thanks, Mario. So those were the questions for today. Viewers, I would request you to drop in an email to me or Mario, Nat, or Parsh in case there are any more questions that you'd like to ask. Feel free to write to any of us or the Young Professionals email ID. We should be definitely connecting you with the right person or the right community where your interest lies. Yeah. So thank you all for participating. Parsh or Nat or Mario, do you have any anything else to say, or anything else that you would like to convey to our viewers today who joined at this point of time from different parts of the world? It's late in certain regions as well. So Mario, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, just a closing thought. A lot of people ask, well, why are you really an IEEE member? And we've all given you tons of great examples today of what you can do, and but personally, when it comes down to my personal beliefs, I'm an IEEE member because I think it puts I'm committing myself to my technical profession and my technical career. And so by joining the IEEE Professional Association, I'm saying it's like a gym membership. It's like you're going to pay money to belong to something, and it's up to you to use it. So you can pay money to belong to the gym, and you can go or maybe not go. It's up to you. It's the same thing, right? You pay money to belong to the IEEE because you're committing yourself to be part of your profession and to be an enabler of building technology for the future.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a gym membership. It all shows your commitment. Yeah, thanks, Mario. So, Nat, one thought as to why are you an IEEE member? Like one closing dialogue from you.
Well, of course, there are many reasons which I discussed, but at the very end of the day, it is about the people. It is about the people that I connect with and the things that I get from getting to know these people, and great ideas that I get to pursue because of that. And I did want to give a note to the participants. As you become a young professional, a lot of the times your company might actually be willing to pay for your IEEE membership. Some companies have policies out there that actually will cover it. And a lot of times they will do it, especially if you utilize what IEEE gives you, such as being a board member, such as being a speaker, such as going to the conferences. So if you go to your company or manager and tell them, hey, I want IEEE membership, and they're like, why? You're like, I don't know, I just want to have it, then they're less likely to want to cover that. But if you go in and say, hey, I'm a board member for a solid-state devices society or a computer society or an affinity group, and I'm leading these events and networking and bringing value to a company, or you're going to a conference and you get a big discount, then your management will actually support you and your company will be willing to pay for your membership. So take advantage of that and your gym membership.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Nat. So Parshva, so any closing thoughts from you?
No, just, thank you everyone for joining. And if anything we said, we've talked about volunteering, product and services. If it's still, you're still unsure, reach out to us. Please, don't hesitate to do that. And be on the lookout. This is a young community, and we're always constantly trying to develop, new products, new services, or, improve the ones we have. So, be on the lookout for things that we're going to be doing. I can guarantee the next 1 or 2 years, and Mario can attest to this, that are going to be new for young professionals. We understand this group is dynamic, it's changing, it's the future of our IEEE membership. So, stick with us.
Thanks, Parsh. Yes. So thanks to all our participants for joining us today. I will send you a feedback survey shortly. Please share your valuable inputs and help us make the experience better for you. Do follow us on social media for updates on conferences and meetups. We are there on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube as well. And you've seen a lot about, seen and heard a lot about career-based services for young professionals. Do try them out if you have not tried them yet. Suggest topics, speakers for future webinars or other IEEE young professional products and services. Email us at young-professionals@ieee.org. Do visit our website www.ieee.org/YP. That's all from our side. Thank you so much. Good night. Good morning, good day. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.